Hey guys, welcome back to Building Southlake. So since it is a episode, like every 10 episodes we do a tour, that's exactly what we're going to do today. So a nice little quick video going over, the older parts of the city in case you're new, and some of the older or newer, portions of the city that are also, maybe if you haven't been keeping up with all of the episodes, you can see what's been added to the city to get your own ideas for your own and hopefully give you guys some inspiration. So we're actually going to start over in the older city. So I'm actually going to, I'm not going to clear because I actually need this stuff. And you'll see the new building I started working on yesterday. We need a map. So here is the older part of the city. So this part has been done for a very long time. Now I say done, I mean there's still some things here and there that need to be finished. But for the most part, this part of the city is the older downtown is what I call it. So when we go into our map, you can see that's where we are here at the bottom. And we have a lot of the stuff filled in. There's obviously still some green spots. There's still a lot of stuff to be fixed and to be finished. But for the most part, down here is done because of the fact that, I have new designs and my techniques in building the city have changed. And so really it's trying to work on more of the newer downtown area because of the fact that there's such a different building style at this point. But, still going to finish up this at some point, so it's never not going to be finished, but, it might take a while. So over here, so this some of this might be repetitive to you guys if you've been watching for a long time. But for those of you that are new, I'm going to show you guys everything that I have, just so if you maybe forgot or if you've never seen it before. So over here, we have the museum. So the museum not finished on the inside at all. It's basically just for aesthetics. It's not even fully finished on the outside. I think this side over here is done, which I think it looks pretty good. But then when we fly all the way over here, you can see that it's not done over here. I was going to finish it up, but, I like moving on from project to project, and I never just got around to finishing it up. But I really do like the design of this museum. I think it looks fantastic. It feels like a museum from the outside. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And if we fly to the front, you're going to see these barricades here. So theoretically, if anybody tried to steal art, we have a lever here. Eventually, it would be moved onto the inside. Just for now, I put it here. So, but what I do is once I hit this, you can see they're down now. I hit that again, and now they're back up. So basically, it's just allowing a roadblock area. So if nobody could try to steal like a painting or anything like that. Right here, this building was never finished either, but I would like to consider it like a bank or something like that, just with how it looks. It looks like very bankish-like. Over here we have the mall, which is still not even done. The mall is probably the biggest scale building on the map just because of how big and square footage it is. And the scope of it is pretty outstanding as well, and it's not even close to being done. The roofs, they're pretty close to being done, but the overall scope of it with what I would want to do, it's not even close because of the fact that, one, I want to have a big scale parking lot over here. And then beyond the parking lot, I want to have little like soccer fields, baseball fields, pretty much a park for kids to play and try to make it feel more alive. And that would actually lead it more into the residential areas at some point. So that's part of the plan over here. The parking garage here, not finished. Got the front done. Looks really good. Just not finished. You're going to see a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of unfinished stuff on this server because it's all done by hand. If you do not know, all of this is done by me. Nobody else has built any building on this map. It's all been done by me personally, nobody else. So yes, I do like to jump from building and from, design to design. That way I can get the ideas out of my head and get some stuff started. And if I always want to come back to it, it's always there and ready for me to continue where I left off. Over here is like the older, I'm not even sure what you would really call this. The beginning of the row building. So theoretically, I want to start making more row buildings because of the fact that row buildings are actually more of a city than skyscrapers. Yes, the skyscrapers make a city look good, from a skyline point of view, but the fact is you actually need the row buildings to make the skyscrapers stand out even more. That's something I've been preaching for a long time here. You're going to see more row buildings here. There's a lot of different designs that you can do with them, and they're a lot quicker to build than skyscrapers, and that's another big side and advantage of them. And over here we have the main part of the downtown area. So this is where a lot of the skyscrapers are and stuff like that. My favorite skyscraper in the newer downtown, or older downtown, is this one right here. I just love how this one turned out. It actually feels like it would be a real office building. It's made all out of glass, and I think it looks absolutely bonkers, so I'm pretty happy with that one. And really, it's just, trying to update it to my new building standards, the new stuff I like to do when building. So really, if I ever do update anything, it's going to be, in the older downtown area. If I do update, it's all going to be about maybe getting rid of some buildings and replacing them with other ones. Because again, I want my new building style to see in the older downtown area. And all this is just so old, which is kind of weird to think about, because the first building on this map was this building here. This was the very first thing made. And then if you look just all the way around it, look at how much has been done in just over a year, I think at this point, maybe a year and a half. And again, remember that this is all done by hand, so I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, but I do take pride in knowing the fact that I've made all of these buildings myself. Trying to come up with new designs every time is very tricky, so, it does take quite a bit of work. Over here, we're going to have more real buildings and stuff like that, office buildings, and just kind of trying to build on that kind of design. Over here, another office building, and the main big design that everybody seems to love is right over here, and that is the baseball stadium. So basically, the baseball stadium is one of the original builds and one of the original big builds on the map, and I think it's one of the best builds I've ever done because of the fact that it feels realistic in scale and how it looks. It makes me very proud to actually know that I made this, and it's come a long way because, I think I would have made it a little bit different if I built it, like now, but for my building style then, this is like the perfect design I could have came up with. It took a lot of time, to make it look complete. This is probably one of the biggest buildings that is going to be actually complete on the exterior. Interior-wise, not done at all, and you actually have dugouts in every room. So if you guys have been following Southlake for a while, you know that I used to do a subscriber of the week every Tuesday on Southlake or on every Southlake video. And for whatever reason, I could never find that subscriber of the week anymore. It's like YouTube just took away that power for me to find out, who's been watching the most videos, which kind of sucks because you can see all the people here that, watch my videos. They were the, they came back every day to watch my videos. So that was a big thing that I wanted to thank you guys for. And it really sucks that I can't do it anymore, I'm sure there's probably a way I could do it, but it wouldn't be the same. It'd be more picking a random name out of a hat instead of actually giving it to the person who deserved it, Over here is where we start to get into the newer downtown areas. So we have the under construction building, which is one of my favorite designs because I love under construction buildings. I think they just look really cool if you do them correctly. And I think this one has turned out pretty well because of the fact that it looks like it actually is under construction with the scaffolding, the cranes all around, lowering pieces into the floor. So it actually looks like it's going to be complete. The barbed wire, which is supposed to be what that is, or rebar, I think is actually the correct word. So a lot of design went into that. We have this office building. Let's see, what else do we have? How about we go into the newer downtown, the newer part of the city? So right here is going to be a library. So I actually want to finish this design soon because of the fact that I love how it looks on the front at least. I haven't finished the back, so I like how it looks on the front because it actually looks like it has some history to it. Kind of colonial style, I think might be the correct word for that. So I really like how it turned out and I just want to finish it. But we come down the road and you're going to run into a lot of newer buildings. So this tall this tall skyscraper is one of the older buildings, but it was just recently finished maybe a month ago, and it looks fantastic. All these over here are not done, but they are close. The closest one to being done on the side is this one, just to my left, and you can see it here. Looking really good. I just need to figure out what I want to do with the road. That's actually kind of the main holdup right now, is because of the fact I need to get the road perfect. That way I know how much space I have to work with when it comes to how big the building itself needs to be. So there's a lot of stuff into play there. We have the Microsoft building, not sponsored. Basically, I just made a Microsoft building. I wanted to actually add real companies into the city to make it feel more alive, if you will. We have the metro station, the huge, massive road here, which is one of the new ideas into the newer city, is adding bigger roads because cities do have some pretty big roads. Now, yes, they do have some narrow ones, but I'm trying to make it feel more realistic. So we do have the metro system, which will eventually lead underground, which we will get to that. And then we have the tallest building on the server. It takes a while to get up there. So if we fly above the Microsoft building, we have the Madrina's building. Some amazing coffee. If you guys want them, definitely go check them out. They have the best coffee I've ever had. And this is actually the tallest building on the server, and it's actually one of my favorites because of the fact that it's not just a tall building. There's actually quite a bit of design that went into this, design-wise. I mean, if you look at it, it's not just, you know, a straight curve up. I mean, there's a lot of different designs that went into making this building. So I'm really happy that this is the tallest building and that Madrina's is pretty much the sponsor of the tallest building. Over here is where we kind of get into the new downtown areas. So kind of going off of the highway design that was in the middle, that was like right next to the museum, going all the way through the city down there, comes all the way through here, kind of into the newer downtown. So here's where things start to actually look complete and look like a city. So there's not too many buildings yet, still working on it, but there are some skyscrapers, and you're going to see one new one. So basically, the whole point of the newer downtown is to make things feel more realistic. I think I'm definitely working on that and making that a reality, because when you look at all the buildings, especially from street level, so if I come down here, things feel realistic in scale. They look like they're meant to be there. You know, things are really looking good here. And you can see all the buildings, they're, you know, pretty well finished. They all have air conditioning units on the top of them as well. And that's just another small detail which adds into the realism and to how good your buildings actually look. And one of my favorite views of this newer downtown area is, so right here we have, if I fly up, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings just in this small square, in this one block. So one of my favorite designs and favorite views of the newer downtown is actually right over here. I love how this looks. It feels like a city because of all the different high variations you have. You have the skyscraper there, but then you have the row buildings next to it that kind of offset from that tallness from the building, and it just really makes everything come together, and that's how a city should feel. And I feel like I'm really nailing it here at the newer downtown area. Over here, we have some apartment buildings with, you know, some different designs, kind of opening it up a little bit, adding some greenery to it, adding some more just actual crazy designs, as you can see with the walkway there, just kind of adding more stuff to it. This building is actually pretty brand new. I think we've been working on it for the past 2 parts, and it's coming along great. It is actually finished. Again, not interior-wise, but exterior-wise, it is complete. And so if we come to the back, you can even see that we have the parking lot here. So we're looking good on space. And then the new building that you guys can see is right over here. So I started working on this yesterday. I think it looks pretty good so far. Still have a long ways to go with it. And I'm trying to consider if I want to make this a under construction building. Not really sure if I want to do that yet or not. But this is actually going to be the building we will probably continue working on next week. And I think it's coming along pretty good. It might make it a little bit taller, but it is a apartment building. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the city, the newer downtown area, it does look like this. So bam, here's what the newer downtown area looks like. So not even close to being finished, but you know, it is looking pretty good. It's a lot more sophisticated than the older downtown areas, but you know, it's really worth it in the end. So some of the new developments that I want to work on soon, I guess I wouldn't really call them developments yet because they're not real yet, but some of the ideas I have is, one, I'm going to be adding a new stadium into the newer downtown area. Not sure where that's going to be yet, but I'm kind of thinking maybe over here next to the highway system. Again, not really sure. Try to plan this out as I go, but looking pretty good there. And I want to add an airport at some point. Oh, also, I did forget to show you guys the metro system down below, which is not even close to being done, because that's going to be a massive scale project. That's not, you know, just one building. You're talking about connecting it with the rest of the city, so there's a lot to be done. But here is what the metro system looks like here. So it's a dual story, so multi-story. So we have down here 2 trains would come in, and then if we go up the escalators, you would have another train here, which would pick up more, and basically going horizontal to where these are going vertical, you know, per se, if you get where I'm coming from here. And then we come up, we have the metro system, and you come up onto the streets, so trying to make it feel like an actual living, breathing city. So that is it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. If you want to see more Southlake, come back next week. And if you like the city, definitely make sure you subscribe to have more of it. So bye-bye, guys, and thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.